This special runoff election is just weeks away in Georgia on January 5th, and One America's Jack Posobiec spoke with Secretary Sonny Perdue, the Secretary of Agriculture from Georgia, to get more on the upcoming race.
We are very excited to welcome to One America News Secretary Perdue. He's here with us as the former governor of Georgia and, of course, a concerned citizen of the state. So, Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to be with you, Jack. Good to talk with you.
Now, when you're out there, when you're talking to people, what's the mood on the ground? I know there is still some negative feeling, a little sentiment regarding the November 3rd situation, but you're also, of course, pushing for the January 5th vote.
Well, there's sadness among most based on the November. I think there's somewhat of embarrassment about Georgia being in this position. There's frustration, and honestly, there's some anger still among people who felt like the Georgia election did not go properly. So we see that mood changing, though. There was some sentiment of people calling for a boycott of the January 5th runoff. That seemed to be dissipating, fortunately, because the way they win is for people to get mad and not go back out to vote. So we're encouraging everyone to win, to come back out and vote, to make sure that we get Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue back in the Senate.
Of course, you're there both as a former governor and as a citizen, but also as someone who understands Georgia as well as probably anyone. Where do you think you see the race going? Do you think that both Loeffler and Perdue, your cousin, of course, are in a good position going into January 5th? Because we have seen some strong campaigns from the other side.
We do feel good about where they are. We look, internal polling or polling in runoffs are not very accurate. The fact is, David has already beat his opponent by more than 2 points in the November 3rd election, even with the irregularities. We think that will hold and even increase. We think Kelly Loeffler, once she's head-to-head with Warnock, who's been shown to be a not representative of Georgia government at all, to really be successful as well. We think both of these opponents, so both of these candidates will return to the Senate as they should have. They represent Georgia values.
Well, I think that's right. And would you agree that with some of the stuff that we've seen coming out on Ossoff, but really particularly with Warnock, it seems to be that that's a little bit outside of the mainstream when it comes to Georgia politics?
Jack, you're exactly right. Both candidates are way outside the mainstream of Georgia politics. It's really, as I said, somewhat embarrassing to have these two candidates. Ossoff is simply really a California actor playing a part with the people putting the money here behind him from Hollywood, New York, and others. He's just the mouthpiece there. He has no depth at all. They've shown what he is, an empty suit. And then Warnock, you've seen the images of him and the statements he's made. An acolyte of Jeremiah Wright. That's not Georgia at all, Jack. And Georgians not going to vote for either one of those.
All right, Mr. Secretary. Final message for Georgia voters going into the new election.
Sure, vote early. If you can't vote early, vote by absentee. Track your ballot. Make sure it's counted. And don't wait until January the 5th, because we have had ice storms here in January in Georgia. The Super Bowl one year was harmed by an ice storm in Atlanta. So please, early voting is already undergoing. So find out where you can vote early, get out and vote, and don't vote alone. Bring friends, family, relatives, neighbors, anyone you know, bring them with you to vote.
All right. Thank you so much, Secretary Perdue, for joining us here. One America News. We'll make sure to get that message out to the folks.
Thank you, Jack.
Want to see more videos like this? Visit OANN.com for immediate access to all the clips you've been waiting to see.